Hello, I'm Eric Snodgrass, and thank you for watching today's Midday Western U.S. Regional Forecast video brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, it's strange to say that I'm going to have to start this video by talking about fires, but this is just the north of San Francisco here. This is the Cave Fire. And with the strong winds and the dry conditions that we saw out ahead of the powerful low-pressure systems, there's multiple systems that are coming through over the next several days, we did have some fire threat. But it appears as though the next few systems that are coming through are going to be bringing enough precipitation to potentially end our fire threat time of year. And so we need to take a look at what's going on there and the timing of these next few systems. So here it is. It's pretty rare that I come to a forecast video and I don't know exactly where to start, because that's when I see a map like this and just see, well, all of the impact, primarily due to winter weather here across the western United States, it's a tough place to pick out. So I'm going to tell you something I want you to do over the next couple of days. And that is, I'd like for you to visit this website, weather.gov. Not weather.com, weather.gov. It's a great website, and you can drill down to your local location and get the best possible weather information from the National Weather Service. They produce outstanding graphics like this one. This one's detailing the winter storm warning for Northern California. You can look at the timing of the event. You can see where they are forecasting snowfall amounts, depending on elevation, and you can see some of the major impacts. They do an excellent job. These are the best in the business at doing this. And they make great graphics. You can see here, this is a total accumulated snowfall that we're anticipating through Thursday evening. And of course, this particular system will be very elevation dependent on that snowfall. And we're going to try to diagnose exactly what's going on here. But I want to start off first by talking about winds. Okay, so again, please check out weather.gov. But let's go straight into the winds. We're going to look at our high resolution model called the NAM. And look at this system that's coming through by late this afternoon. Just offshore here, parts of Oregon, Northern California, we will be having winds in that area that are well into hurricane force. We'll see wind speeds in here approaching 100 miles an hour on the backside of the storm system. Now, as it hits the coast, you see wind gusts already coming up here to the 40, 50 mile an hour range right here where Oregon and California meet. But thankfully, this system, of course, loses quite a bit of its punch once it hits land. But elevation-driven winds, we may see them getting up here in the 60s and 70s in Northern California. Now, meanwhile, just look at the rest of the Northwest. Widespread wind gusts here of 30 to, in some locations, 40 miles an hour, screaming through parts of the western side of the Snake River Valley, all the way up into the Columbia Basin. This storm system is packing a serious punch. So where are we in the timeline? This is out to around midnight on Wednesday morning. And as I work you through Wednesday midday, that low-pressure system is sliding now through parts of Oregon, and such that in the early morning we still have another very widespread high wind event for much of the Pacific Northwest. So this is in addition to the snow, to the rain, everything. We're going to have some strong winds with this system all the way through the day on Wednesday, getting into Wednesday evening. Now, the problem with this, in addition to, of course, what it's going to be doing in terms of precipitation, this is going to be very impactful for travel. All of our major airports in the Northwest are going to be dealing with these strong winds, so definitely expect some delays. And that's not even yet talking about the snow that I'm anticipating out of this. So getting you into early on Thanksgiving morning, we still see the strong winds moving through parts of northern Idaho and into Washington state. But things will calm down in parts of Oregon, Nevada, and California once we get into Thanksgiving Day. So this is the first big system we're going to talk about in this video. Let's take a look at what it looks like now on radar. Okay, so this is simulated radar reflectivity. Starts us off early in the morning on Tuesday, and here comes the system. By Tuesday afternoon, we're already starting to watch the heavy bands of precipitation coming into coastal Oregon and Northern California, with snow already piling up at the higher elevation. As I work you through Tuesday afternoon and evening, this is now getting into Tuesday evening. We're seeing the snow piling up here in the Sierra Nevada. You saw those snow levels. Sometimes as the colder air really gets in here, maybe getting as low as 1,500 feet, but in general, it's above 1,800 feet. But heavy rainfall in Northern California, you can see it coming all the way through the San Francisco Bay Area and starting to work close to the San Joaquin Valley by the time we get into this evening. At this particular point, widespread snow spreading through parts of the higher elevation here on the, we call it the desert side here of Oregon, getting into Nevada. And we're going to see this moving through the evening hours into the overnight. It's going to be kind of band after band coming through. So you'll get a break. You'll get breaks in here, but you're going to have to watch the radar to see exactly how the bands come through. Now, this has got us here on Wednesday morning. And at this point, the low is fully onshore. It is kind of slowly weakening just because it came off the ocean and is onshore. But look at some of the big snowfall amounts we're going to be getting here in parts of the Sawtooth Mountain. So as that flow comes right up in and out of the Snake River Valley into the Sawtooth, our best chances of snow in the Snake River Valley are in the eastern side of it. Excuse me. And as this is kind of blasting through here, well, we're going to take a look at snowfall totals in a few minutes, but it's going to be a multi-day event. We are now out to Wednesday midday, getting into Wednesday evening and overnight hours, and then right out to Thursday morning. At this point, the heaviest bands of precipitation are moving down here into Southern California. Things are starting to calm down for Northern California and Oregon for your Thanksgiving Day, but elsewhere we can see the extent of the trough, and as it's just bringing in bands of precipitation, not only through California, Southern California, but also through the Four Corner States and up into Idaho and Montana. And remember, this is just the first system that we're going to be talking about. I'll get to that second one in just a few moments. So some of the details zoomed in here, getting you through basically Thursday night. This is what snowfall totals are looking like. Okay, so in parts of the Snake River Valley, as you get over here toward the eastern side, 2 to 3 inches, maybe some locations 4, but certainly elevation dependent as you get up into the Sawtooth and the Payette National Forest here. We're talking about potential in this area for picking up about 25 inches of snow in this region. Come over to the Cascades. We can see a narrow corridor in through here that will be easily picking up 1 to 2 feet of snow in this region, and the Blue Mountains as well. But coming down into California, well, let me switch your view so you can see California a bit better here. Along the Sierra Nevada, the potential for picking up 3 feet to 4 feet of snow is quite high as you move here along the higher peaks, and certainly curling around here around the Sacramento Valley, we do have the chances for picking up between 18 and 20 inches of snow in this region as well. Staying in California, let's take a look at what the liquid equivalent of this looks like. So in the Central Valley, the chances of picking up a half inch of rainfall are here with this system. But remember, it's coming in these kind of bands that come sweeping through like this. So it's not going to be a continual rainfall, but that's the potential for picking up some heavier rainfall. On the coast there, widespread 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches as you get over toward the west coast. Down in the LA Basin, you can also see with the elevation dependence here as the air goes over the San Gabriel Mountains, but we could be picking up between 1 inch to 2 inches of rainfall down there as well. Okay, going back up to the northwest, we do see that the region that misses out on this, and this is primarily just due to the trajectory of the low coming down like this before it starts to curl and bring the precip up like that. Well, Spokane, northern parts of Idaho, that part of this part of the Columbia Basin, this is going to be relatively dry. We may potentially get some light rain into and potentially some snow into like Yakima and that region, getting down into like Kennewick and the Tri-Cities down here. But overall, this is a drier system for this northern section of our Northwest. But take a look at these temperatures. These are minimum temperatures. We're going to start in the Northwest and work through our week. So this is the minimum temperatures you can expect for Tuesday morning. If I click play here, take a look at this. This is Wednesday morning's lows. Almost the whole region is below freezing here in the Northwest. Now the trough is fully established. It is quite deep for Thursday morning. So very cold morning on Thursday, even colder on Friday. And as we work into the weekend, that's probably the coldest day we're going to get here. This is now for Saturday. Look at these temperatures here in the early morning and the single digits to the low teens. By Sunday, things start to moderate a bit. We're going to talk about why the pattern is moderating, but moderating back into the 20s. This is quite cold. And coming into California, well, I don't know if you saw it on the first image, but there is a hard freeze warning out for parts of the Central Valley right in through here. So early this morning, the temperatures getting down here. Take a look at where they get tomorrow morning. So right in there. So we're talking about some cold air tucked away in the Central Valley here. And we will possibly be bringing our first freezing temperatures into the valley, throughout the early part of this week, and then again toward the weekend. So this is now Saturday morning lows and Sunday. So Saturday morning, another very cold morning right into this corridor. So this is how deep this trough is. I think we better take a look at it to understand where this pattern goes with our next system. So let's play this one forward. All right, go right to here. First system emerges. That's the one that gets out into the plains. But look at the depth of the trough by the time I get you into Wednesday evening, into Thursday morning, then getting into Friday morning. Now you notice that parts of Washington were dry. The reason why? this flow pattern is doing something like this. And that is the wrong direction to be bringing the winds in for bringing high precipitation amounts. And that's why parts of the Pacific Northwest are drier than other parts, especially in Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, and California. Now, as we move on through, this is now getting out to Saturday morning. First trough ejects and makes a big low pressure system midsection of the country. So if you're visiting the West Coast and you're trying to fly home this weekend, this system's going to mess with all of the major airports in the center part of the United States. Now, early next week, this is now December the 1st, Sunday, the next trough sweeps in offshore. Now, what's the significance? This will be pushing quite a bit of moisture on the southern side of it into Southern California for December 1st and December 2nd. And it appears that after that, this pattern attempts to relax a little bit. See this? As you get out to Wednesday, December the 4th, December the 5th, and 6th. But we notice overall troughing developing here in the Gulf of Alaska once I get out to the day 10 time period. But the models are really struggling with understanding this time period beyond about day 8 or day 9. So I'm going to watch this carefully to see if this trough does develop, because this could mean some significant precipitation for the Pacific Northwest regions that are up there that have been dry now for about 2 months. So we're going to have to watch this one very carefully overall in the pattern. What it does tell me is any extended time periods of above average temperatures are not in the works for the western United States as we push forward through the beginning of the month of December. All right, so take a look at these precipitation anomalies. Over the next 5 days, as this system does slide in, we do bring in a precipitation anomalies that are generally from a 1/2 inch to maybe 1.5 inches, so that's greater than normal, while the northwest stays on the drier side of things. But system number 2, the one that parks off of the southwest coast, look at what it does as you add to now give you the total 10-day precipitation anomalies. And I want to show you this system here. Now, what we need to be discussing is the flow. And remember, in winter, it's all about the position and strength of these strong onshore flow events. So to see it, let's go to the European model. Operational, we're looking here at precipitation type and intensity. We've talked about this, so let's get up to Thursday morning, Thanksgiving morning. We can see the main system is now spinning down here in Southern California. So this will be a major travel headache for the state of California, getting all the way up through Nevada, Utah, Idaho, and this part of Montana as we stretch through the day on Thursday. But system number 1 finally pulls through the Intermountain West by Friday and then emerges here in the Central Plains by the time we get into Saturday. Snowfall amounts still piling up in this region through the weekend, okay? Now, here's the next system. You see that trough was parked way off the coast over here like this, and around it, we're just funneling in the moisture. So let's take those drawings off there and show you what I'm talking about. This is Saturday evening getting into Sunday morning. And now we have actually an atmospheric river event setting up, focusing the heavier precipitation throughout the state of California as we get through the day on Monday and into Tuesday as well. And it'll probably finish sometime around Wednesday afternoon and evening. So that is system number 2 that's going to be impacting California. And we do see that as we stretch this out into the middle of the first full week of December, so I'm talking about the 6th, 7th, and 8th, we will be seeing here another push as that deeper trough. Remember we saw it? The deeper trough comes in like this. Look at what it's doing in terms of bringing in moisture here to the Pacific Northwest. So our pattern is becoming more active, but I want to address one thing as we get toward the end of this video. I don't see any major global shifts that tell me it's going to be moving over to an entirely different regime, okay? We'll come back to that in a second. Precipitable water. Now, this is what I want you to watch. As I play this forward, the dry air, the cold, dry air that's in that deeper trough that we're going to see toward the end of the week, well, it's diving in like this, and here's the moisture feed out ahead of it coming through the Baja into the Four Corners states. But watch what happens as I get you through the weekend and now into Saturday afternoon, evening, into Sunday morning. You see, that's when the deeper trough is sitting here. And look at the moisture stream we're getting here, which actually originates back here over Hawaii. So this is technically kind of a nice little version of the Pineapple Express, pumping in that moisture. So that's where we're really picking up a lot of our rainfall. It's at the weekend into early next week. And you see that pumping in there Monday, Tuesday, and into Wednesday. So watch out for that, okay? That is our next big push for California precip. Temperatures, like I said, over the next 5 days, we are locked into the cooler weather. And even as we get out from day 5 through 10, we still don't really shake away from that colder pattern overall, all right? So are there any big changes that I'm looking out for? Well, I'm going to stretch you out here all the way to Sunday, December the 8th, and we're looking at the ensemble flow of the jet stream here. And what I'm noticing is this. Now, this is significant because it suggests that we could be getting more ridging just off the coast rather than on the west coast. And that could help funnel systems to come in kind of over that ridge and hit the northwest. The second thing I notice is this branch of the subtropical jet stream starting to speed up and come into the southeast. So these two features, what they are not is they're not a big high over low setup. It's a bit more of an active jet stream. But still, to really break away from this pattern and get much stronger flow, let me get rid of this drawing. And what I mean is, I'm talking about getting the jet stream to come in like this and just barrel into the west coast. We've got to shake a couple of other things. Now, to show you the result, GFS week 2 is over here on the left. European ensemble is over here on the right. So we can certainly see the influence of that stronger subtropical jet stream flow. And notice, in the Pacific Northwest, especially over here in the European model, does have things wetter than average. Okay, what needs to really happen to get this to go away? I've got to get rid of this big Indian Ocean dipole event. It's what's shoving the jet stream farther north than we would want, preventing it from being more zonal and hitting the west coast. So we need to see a breakdown of the sinking motion here and the rising motion here. We need that pattern to flatten out and go away, but you can see through the next 2 weeks, it's not really changing too much at all. If there's something else that could be perturbing this, do notice the raising of heights in this area in the stratosphere. That is elongating and stretching and disrupting the polar vortex, and that will by mid-month have a bigger influence on our pattern. But all these things are things I'll be addressing in tomorrow's long-range update, so make sure you check that one out tomorrow, okay? So 2 big systems coming through the next 10 days. Keep a close eye on the radar. Check out weather.gov to get the details on the elevation pattern of that snow. And just watch out for your major flooding threat and a freeze in the Central Valley. Okay? I'll wrap it up right here. Have a great rest of your day. Be careful as we're traveling here around Thanksgiving. Thank you.